Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
MashaAllah, brothers and sisters, welcome again to another presentation of UMB United Muslims of Brisbane, however you want to say it, or Brisbane. Tonight, alhamdulillah, we'll interview again another convert or revert to Islam. Inshallah, his name is Yusuf Enright. He's been a Muslim now for 7 years. Alhamdulillah, he was born in Australia, raised up in Australia, so he's a real mite. He's a real dude. Alhamdulillah. He was raised in a Christian family. I think he told me he was Protestant before. But subhanAllah, he learned Islam from a friend, Turkish brothers. Alhamdulillah. See the effect. If you are giving dawah, you love your deen, you love Allah, you love the Prophet ﷺ, and you want to share it to a non-Muslim, and this was what happened to Brother Yusuf. He started his journey to Islam by having Turkish friends. So alhamdulillah, Brother Yusuf now is involved, mashallah, he's involved in dawah, street dawah. He goes with that street dawah, and he goes for dawah to the youth as well. Alhamdulillah, he's been very active in our center here, and alhamdulillah, we have the privilege to interview him tonight. And before we start, inshallah, remember that this presentation, we want everybody to be inspired. We always like hearing stories of rivers, isn't it? Like, because it's a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala how He guides people to Islam. And you will hear and read different stories about rivers. It's just amazing how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides people to Islam. So it's something for the old Muslims to inspire them more to love the deen, and for the non-Muslims out there, it's something to make you think that Islam is waiting for you. So let's welcome Brother Yusuf Enright.
Takbir!
Welcome, brother. Welcome to UMB, man. Alhamdulillah. Welcome to UMB Coffee Chat.
Thank you, brother.
Alright, alhamdulillah. You had your coffee already, bro?
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah. Alright, let's start. Give me a bit of background about yourself. What was your belief before? What was your life before you entered Islam?
Before I always grew up in sort of a non-practicing Christian home, typical Australian Christian home, I never accepted the Trinity and things like that. But I wasn't too much into religion anyway. I sort of always had the thing that there was one God, and we should worship one God alone. But I never got really. I went to Sunday school, and then after I got older, it sort of went away, and then.
Mashallah. Yeah. So can you share with us, brothers? I'm sure there's a lot of brothers and sisters there watching us, and also non-Muslims who's going to watch us. How you became a Muslim? Just briefly describe to us what was your journey to Islam? Where did it start, and how did you make the Shahada or the testimony of faith when you entered Islam?
I started doing security for Navy bases, and there was a Navy base in King's Cross and HMAS Cattle. And when I was there, I ended up working with another brother. He was Turkish, and Serdar, and we developed a friendship, and we became like best friends, and we still are. Like, we're like brothers now, him and his brother. Originally I just met him, and I sort of had a negative thought of Muslims, they were just sort of.
Yeah, what do you think about Muslims before, bro?
Just like people in the desert, and and,
that's it.
That
religion for the Arabs.
Sort of stereotypical, behind sort of people. And then once I met Sam, and I started to hang out with him and a couple of his mates, I started to see how good their character was. And their character left most of the people I'd ever met for there. They were always there for you. They were always share with you. And, the good character.
It reminds me of the interview we had with the brother. Remember the brother we interviewed a few days ago? The same story, that because of the character of the Muslims, he started appreciating Islam. So alhamdulillah, sorry, go on, please.
Yeah, and then anyway, I later, not long after, I met his older brother, and we became, the three of us were sort of inseparable. We were always hung out together. We were pretty much 24/7 together. We're all like brothers, And at that stage, I didn't have any interest in Islam or know anything about it. Then I met their father, and he's, and we got along. I got along very well with their father as well, and he's slowly just started to ask me questions that started to make me question my existence. Like he'd ask, what do you believe? What do you think about God?
Mashallah. So he started inviting you to Islam, making you think.
In a really good way. Like,
Yes.
He wasn't there like, like some of the Christians do. He wasn't there going, if you don't become a Muslim, you're going to go to the hellfire and burn. He did it in a really nice way.
In other words, nobody forced you to become a Muslim, right?
No, of course not.
So, when did you decide that, okay, you started learning something about Islam, the brother starts questioning you. So, what was the point in your life that that's it, I will become a Muslim?
What that led me to do, it led me to start to study religions. I spent, because I have an uncle that's a pastor, so strong Christianity has always been a part of my family. Like my uncle and my dad's sister and their kids, they're all worldwide missionaries in the Philippines, in Africa and that type of thing. I just started to ask questions to pastors, priests. I went to the Catholics, I went to pastors and started to question them about.
Were they answering you with your question? Were you giving you answers?
But they were answering me in sometimes they go around the questions. Like when you ask the Trinity, they'll give you they'll sum it up with water, ice and steam, and they'll try to explain it, but it doesn't, it never really made sense, and no one could really answer some of the key questions that, Christianity's doctrine. And then I went to and spent a bit of time meeting with the Jehovah's Witness, and I kind of quite like, they were more like, I looked like, they stuck to what they preached, and they were more like, I don't know, a bit more.
So, did you enter Islam when you were in, because you told me before you lived in Sydney, and you were, obviously you were born in Brisbane, from Byron Bay, isn't it? So, did you make Shahada or you enter Islam in Queensland, or were you in Sydney?
No, this was in Sydney.
In Sydney?
Yeah.
And the brothers out there, of course, they help you with your prayers, seeking knowledge about Islam.
Well, one day, after they asked me a lot of questions, one day, they gave me a Quran and I started to read that, and that actually made me ask a lot of questions again. I had more questions than I had before, and then one day, I don't know, it just sort of all like the penny dropped. It all came together, and I went into the kitchen and I was crying, and I said to them I said, what do I do? How do I join this beautiful religion? So,
MashaAllah, isn't it good, brothers?
Very good.
Adnan is sleeping, bro. Adnan is sleeping, bro. You're right. Brother Musa is right, man. I think he needs more coffee, bro. Sorry, brother Yusuf. We just, making a joke with brother Adnan. Okay, what was the most beautiful thing you liked about Islam, bro?
Probably Islam is very simple, it's for everyone. The thing with Islam is there's no difference of nationality. It's just very simple. There's one God, and we pray to one God, and God is alone.
It's so clear when you say one God, it's really one, isn't it?
There's no fathers, sons, Holy Spirits, and all these things. It's just basically you pray to God, and God is alone, and God's not floating around in the earth, and He's not in the trees, and He's not inside me. It's just you pray to that. You pray to the one and only God, and
sorry, brother. Were there any hurdles or obstacles before you entered Islam? Usually there's a lot of friends who are pressuring you don't become a Muslim. Even our own self, the devil wants to whisper to you, don't do this. It's too hard. What will your parents say? Did you experience the same thing that many Muslims?
From friends and that, some of them had a negative thing, what do you want to go be one of them for? And that typical, closed-minded. They don't really understand what is Islam. They've got that typical what the media portrays, Muslims are this, Muslims are that. But because I'd been around the people and I'd seen the character of the people and I'd started to actually investigate it for myself rather than listening to the media, I started to see how beautiful is Islam, how compassionate it is, how much respect it has for women, and, how good it is for humanity. And I had some friends like that, but later it became a problem with my father. There was a big confrontation there. He was very against it, but he's come around.
Okay, last question, inshallah. Do you have any advice for our viewers, our audience here, especially first of all for the Muslims and then for the non-Muslims? Please give your advice.
For the Muslims, I'd say do your best to be the best you can, and most importantly, you know, make your 5 prayers a day, because at the end of the day, you know, like Allah's going to ask us first about our prayers before anything else. So it's the most important thing. We're going to try and be steadfast and help each other, because we all go off the track sometimes. And then for the non-Muslims, I'd just say, like, investigate Islam instead of taking, you know, what you've been told or what, you know, what's been portrayed on the media. Investigate it with an open heart for yourself, and you know, you'll actually see how beautiful Islam is, how it's a beautiful, peaceful way of life, and yeah, that's, you know.
Alhamdulillah. One last thing. Sorry, I said it was the last, but you're involved in the street dawah, isn't it? It's just, or maybe people are just interested that you're a Christian before, now you're a Muslim, and now you're out there in the street inviting non-Muslims to Islam. What's the reaction of the people, especially here in Australia, when they see you outside as a Muslim now, and you are proud as a Muslim and inviting them and actually answering misconceptions about Islam? What's the best thing that you heard from them?
Well, you know, like sometimes people are really shocked, and they'll stand there and like stare at you, because they see like, oh, you know, this is an Anglo Australian. He's like one of us, but he's, you know, a Muslim, and you know, it shocks people, and it'll often create where people will come over and start asking, like, why do you come in? What, you know? They get really surprised.
Yeah.
And then of course you get some, you know, but there's more positive than there is negative. You get some negative, you know, tell you to go back to your own country, and you know, obviously, where am I going to go?
Go back to your own country, and you're from Australia.
Maybe they mean Byron Bay, I don't know.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Well, thank you very much for coming. Inshallah, we'll invite you again for more presentation, inshallah. Don't forget, United Muslims of Brisbane. Stay tuned to our Facebook account, United Muslims of Brisbane, or YouTube channel, United Muslim Brisbane. Keep in touch, always watch our shows. We love you all, inshallah. We're helping the youth to grow up so we can help the ummah, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.